Hello everyone, this is Faye at CSN Chicago News. As the TSA has announced new screening procedures to better search for potential threats, you can expect to go through stricter security on your next flight. Pat-downs will be a little more invasive, and transportation authorities are warning travelers to be prepared. It's a new plan to combat potential TSA security failures at airports nationwide. Until now, TSA officers make risk-based assessments for each passenger, choosing one of 5 different pat-down methods. Now, one single standard method will be used universally. The TSA said the new pat-down methods are not expected to increase passenger time getting through security, but some passengers said they will not have enough individuals to do the pat-down and passengers are gonna miss flights. The new policy comes 2 years after a report from major security labs across the country. Weapons and other hazardous materials make it past screening in 95% of tests conducted. Special Olympics Chicago invites everyone to the 17th Annual Chicago Polar Plunge on March 5, 2017. Thousands of people braved the chilly water of Lake Michigan to raise money for activities, medals, uniforms, and transportation for more than 6,800 athletes in Chicago alone. Those registered to take part in the plunge are asked to fundraise at least $200. Prizes are awarded for the top 3 individual fundraisers: best costumes, best team costumes, and largest team. The Chicago Polar Plunge has attracted several celebrities over the year. The city of Chicago is celebrated its 180th year on Saturday. Chicago was incorporated on March 4, 1837. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel said, "Happy 180th birthday to the greatest city in the world. It's remarkable to reflect on the rapid rise of a frontier trading outpost into not just the most American of American cities, but a true global city. I join residents across the city of Chicago in celebrating all we have accomplished together throughout our storied history, and looking forward to a future that is even brighter than our incredible past." The Chicago History Museum marked the occasion with free birthday cake from Alice Cheesecake and lemonade. The celebration got underway at 10 a.m. with guest speakers and performance, as well as storytelling and craft for kids. Admission to the museum is free for Illinois residents on commemorative days. Chicago police are warning residents about 4 armed robberies that took place in less than 2 hours early Saturday at businesses on the city northwest side. In each incident, 2 men entered the business, displayed a handgun, and stole money, according to an alert from Chicago police. The suspects that fled the scene in a dark-colored sport utility vehicle, authorities said. Anyone with information on those incidents is asked to contact detectives at 312-744-8263. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Hello, this is Feng Lu, a faculty member of Peking University. I would like to share my observation for China's macroeconomic situation for you today. According to the statistics released on this Monday by the National Bureau of Statistics, China's GDP growth rate for the third quarter was 6.9%, which is consistent with 7% for the first 2 quarters of this year. That highlights China has successfully maintained relatively high as well as steady growth for the first 3 quarters of this year. The growth rate of around 7% surely is the highest among the major economies in the world at this moment. But compare with the track record of nearly 10% growth rate for China assumed in the previous decades, the growth rate at the moment in recent years has been slowing down for China indeed. Why this happened? I think the recently released statistics give some direct explanations. Number one, the industrial activities growth rate has been slowing down to 6.2%, compared with the figure of something like 15% in the early years of the booming periods. Number two, the growth rate of the fixed asset investment has been declined to 12%, compared with the figure of usually over 20% in the booming periods. Number three, most importantly, the external sector conditions are not favorable. The growth rate of the foreign trade has been declined by something like 7.6% for the first 3 quarters this year. But we can understand, we discuss the economic performance of China at the moment in a broad context of the cyclical as well as structural transformations. On the one hand, China has achieved superb, rapid catch-up during the first quarter of this new century. But there are problems and difficulties as well as elements of the imbalances also has been accumulated during the process, such as overcapacity as well as bubbles in the housing sector in selected areas in China. In order to dealing with these kind of problems, and the economic growth rate has slowing down inevitably. On the other hand, rapid growth of the factor costs in terms of the salary as well as land prices and appreciations in real terms for RMB exchange rates push forwards the process of the structural transformation. And finally, structural transformation will enhance the Chinese economic structure in future eventually. But during the transition periods and economic growth process will face and headwinds and inevitably. And in thoroughly assessing the internal as well as external environment, economic environment, the new leaders and adopted the correct policy mix to addressing these problems since the 18th Congress of the CCP a few years ago. During recent years, implementation of these policies has brought good and positive results for China's economy already in terms of the reducing the overcapacity, gradually absorbing the bubbles of the housing sector in certain areas, as well as macroeconomic structural improvements. Finally, I think you can observe that the growth rates for the western and the medium provinces and the regions in China has been growing relatively higher than the national average in recent years, which will have very positive and strategic implications for China's economy and in future. In summary, I think the current economic performance of China's economy can be reasonably, sensibly explained by the gradually slowing down of the potential growth rates, by the twofolds of the cyclical and the structural transformations. The correct policy adopted by the policymakers in the recent years has produced positive results already. Adhering to this policy mix, I personally think China's economy will get rid of these downward pressures in a couple of years. And finally, China's economy can hurdle across the line of the high-income economy in the next booming periods. Thank you.
专业的团队，丰厚的经验。
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to the Lake Cook Law Group.
投资理财、法律咨询，芝加哥专业律师团队为您的梦想提供最安全的保障。
Houston's annual livestock show and rodeo parade kicked off on Saturday. The event transformed the bustling city into a down-and-out celebration of the rural West's heritage. In downtown Houston, the U.S. fourth largest city, colorful floats rolled on amid thousands of men and women on horseback. The streets were filled with the sounds of hoofs and the perfect timing of marching bands. Thousands of Houston residents joined in at one of the city's most popular celebrations, the Houston Rodeo Parade. The 2-hour parade was the opening event for the annual Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, which is to be held from March the 7th to the 26th this year. The show also marks the beginning of the Houston's rodeo season. Many officials got on their saddles to participate in the parade. Congressmen and congresswomen were all on horseback, and even Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner rode a horse in the parade. In 1932, the Houston Fat Stock Show was established to boost cattle industry along the Texas Gulf Coast. Nowadays, the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo hosts one of the most prestigious horse shows in the world, drawing more than 31,000 livestock and horse show entries. Ice harvesting can be dated back to more than a century ago in southern Norway. As an important industry back then, many of the ice blocks were exported to other countries. Nowadays, the wide use of mechanical refrigeration technology has made natural ice harvesting very rare. Lifestyles takes you to Norway to experience a fun ice harvesting competition. In memory of the traditional industry, an ice harvesting competition was held in the Asker area, southwest of Norway's capital city, Oslo. A total of 6 teams participated in the competition. Each team had 4 ice cutters. Competitors could only use 1 axe, 2 hand saws, and 2 ice picks. The goal was to cut 12 blocks of ice and pile them up as soon as possible. It turned out that experience was the most important thing in this ice harvesting competition, as the winners were the oldest team of all. After the competition, some people even tried to take a dip into the icy lake through a hole left behind by the ice cutters. A fashion show on Cheongsam, or Qipao, a stylish traditional Chinese dress for ladies, is held at Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa. Lifestyles takes you there for a look. The fashion show exhibited a beautiful facet of the rich Chinese culture to diplomats of different countries at the African Union. The show featured performances on different themes, including young girls' beauty, hosting friend, Chinese Romeo and Juliet dance, and violin solo, among others. According to the head of the Chinese mission to the African unit, the event was hosted by the spouses at the mission in connection with the upcoming International Women's Day, aiming to promote the rich Chinese cultural elements to the rest of the world. Participants hailed the event, saying it serves as a good platform to learn traditional Chinese clothing and related cultural elements.
I must say this fashion show has been magnificent, wonderful, and beautiful. I can describe it in all these beautiful words because it's really been magnificent.
The event concluded with a banquet which offers Chinese dishes. The Chinese mission to the African unit would continue to host such events in future with a view of promoting the rich culture of China to the rest of the world. A huge replica of Disney's Beauty and the Beast castle will go on display this month in Hong Kong, made entirely from Lego bricks. It is being built for the Brick Live Show, the first time the exhibition has come to Asia. Lifestyles goes behind the scenes to see how it was made.
500,000 bricks, plates, tiles, and arches, as well as 150 LED lights to make the whole castle glow. The fairy tale creation will stand around 2.2 meters tall at its highest tower. The feat has already taken professional Lego artist Kevin Hall about 6 months to build ready. In the films, magic can be used to solve all problems, but Kevin had to rely on other approaches to overcome his challenges.
There's probably 2 things. One was I had to design it so it could actually come apart to be shipped around the world. So when I designed it, it's in 11 pieces, so it can actually come down and go into crates. But probably the most challenging, the actual building, was all the roofs, because the hand put every single tile. There's 40,000 tiles, so that was probably the hardest part.
Kevin decided to be a professional Lego builder when he was just 6 years old. He has over 30 years of design and building experience, with a fondness for creating castles. In order to build the castle, Kevin had spent hours rewatching the 1991 animated film Beauty and the Beast to include all the details that fans will be looking for, as well as interpreting the main structure. In the next step, Kevin said that he will take his castles to Paris for an exhibition. Lego fans and Disney lovers are looking forward to share the artist's love to castles all around the world. The exhibition, held at Mongkok in Hong Kong, will last until March the 31st.
Turning to Zimbabwe, the Chinese renovated Victoria Falls International Airport welcomed its biggest wide-bodied aircraft to date. Take a look. South African Airways, or SAA, landed an Airbus A330-200 carrying passengers from Johannesburg. The wide-bodied aircraft has a capacity of 222 passengers. SAA country manager for Zimbabwe said that there was a lot of potential on the Johannesburg-Victoria Falls route.
Operating a wide-body aircraft into this terminal was a dream that was just a dream a few months ago. And even as we officially opened the airport in December last year, it was still a far-fetched dream that a wide-body aircraft would operate into this terminal. There is great potential for Victoria Falls, and we see through the numbers that are coming through. Let us engage and make sure that we have more and more customers or tourists coming to Victoria Falls. There are untapped markets that maybe we can share notes about, and then we can see if we can make this grow and have more customers come to Victoria Falls.
The upgrading work of Victoria Falls International Airport began in 2013. It was carried out by China Jiangsu International with a $150 million loan from China Export-Import Bank. The renovated airport can now handle about 2 million passengers per year, up from 500,000. It is considered to be the gateway to Victoria Falls, a World Heritage Site and one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. The government expected the airport to attract more international airlines and bring more tourists to Zimbabwe. In some parts of the world, gone are the days when people used to find drinking itself a fun activity. In India, young people are finding conventional drinking habits simply boring. And now they're exploring new ways to make it more interesting and fun. One example of this is drink and paint, which is becoming increasingly popular in India. Take a look.
How does it feel like painting after having a variety of wines? Head to the Indian capital, New Delhi, and you will certainly come to know about it after entering the wine company here. So don't wait and let the Picasso in you come out.
Located in swanky cyber hub of Gurgaon, in one of New Delhi's suburbs, the wine company will do more than satisfy your taste for alcohol and do it with a creative twist. Once you stop by this bar for drinks and food, the waiters will also serve you paint brushes, paint, and a piece of canvas. The idea is to let you create your own masterpiece. For the wine company, though, it's a business opportunity to rake in more profits.
Special events is kind of property we are creating for our own restaurant. It's a wine and paint, nobody else is doing. So it's given such a different kind of experience to the people. People are coming, they are just enjoying with us, chilling for 2 and 3 hours. Certainly it's good for business.
Natural landscapes, social scenes, and even abstract pieces, the creative renderings on the theme of drink and paint cover a wide range of fun subjects. All drinkers need to do is just brush up and wind down as they listen to their favorite music in background and follow the instructions of a professional painter hired by the company. Among the guests here are Shruti and her colleagues, who work at a multinational market research firm. They come here because they believe the activity takes the real, inner self of a person out onto the canvas, especially when they're in the company of like-minded people.
Looking at other people draw, I think it gives you fabulous perspectives on what people think. They have such simple ideas that they put onto paper, which is beautiful. I think after having wine, it's all the more easy to put your inhibitions onto a side and to draw. So I think usually I would not do that, but yeah, after wine, I think that gives you that much.
What I really wanted to do was I wanted to highlight, like, the tree is at the absolute center of the painting. And generally when you take a photo or a painting, you don't make the focus object in the center, you make it on the side. Like, that's one of the 1/3 rule. But in the center, I wanted the tree to be there because it's dividing like two worlds very sharply. Like, this is a more chaotic situation, whereas this is more placid, there's more order.
For many, drink and paint is a fantastic escape from their routine daily lives. The added bonus is they get to take their own one-of-a-kind art pieces home. For some, though, it's about reliving memories from their childhoods when many were more creative than they are now. For others, it's also about stress relief.
So basically, I used to paint during my childhood. Now, after I grow up, I always, working with computers, though I enjoy drinking outside, but sometimes it's become boring, like just going to a regular pub and just having a drink. So I thought it's a very beautiful thing to, club both the passions, like which is drinking and painting together. And so that's how this concept come into picture. And it gives a very, a good platform for all the people to drink creatively and, discover their own new talents.
Everybody needs to do something creative every now and then. And art is another very creative form. Yes, having a drink while you're doing something always loosens you up. It makes you less tense, makes you relax. So I'm sure it's a good idea to drink and paint at the same time.
Medical doctors also found it a great stress reliever.
It's a very liberating feeling to put it all out there on the canvas. So everything that you've been absorbing throughout your life, it just comes out on the canvas when you have that wine with you, because it's a great form of stress relief, is what I believe.
Ever since the White Company held the first Drink and Paint, demand for such events has been increasing. Currently, the company organizes 2 events a month. It is planning to double the number of events, as queries have already started pouring in for special corporate group sessions and other activities. While renting luxury items has become commonplace in Western countries, the model is still developing in China. MS Paris, a Chinese online luxury renting company, has now started gaining popularity across the country.
Many women know how it is. A wardrobe full of clothes but nothing to wear. Miss Paris, located in Shanghai Bund, is trying to offer women a more economic way to be fashionable. It sends buyers to New York's Fifth Avenue and fashion shows in Paris on behalf of their clients. Customers can then choose from more than 100 European and American brands, within a price range of $300 and $1,000.
We have 50 to 60 offers per day in the peak season.
By paying online, you can rent clothes from anywhere for no extra fee. The company provides next-day delivery to China's first-tier cities. The cost of Miss Paris membership card is 518 yuan per month, or 3,588 yuan per year. Each member has a maximum of 400 yuan a day to rent clothes, with no limitations on style, brands, prices, or numbers. Customers only pay extra if the price of the clothes goes over the daily limit.
The total renting price of the 2 dresses that she just picked is 719 yuan. That means she only has to pay 319 yuan for the extra. One costume is from Ralph Lauren and the other is from laundry. They normally would sell at about 3,000 to 5,000 yuan at couture.
Many traditional costume renting stores tend to have smaller clientele, meaning higher renting prices, especially for those expensive dresses. In contrast, thanks to the huge online market, Miss Paris dresses are more accessible. Over 80% of the renting prices for a single outfit are below 400 yuan, with a renting period of 3 days. For one, this is a very attractive bargain. What she could spend on just one well-known brand dress could cover the same expenses as renting for a whole year. And of course, Miss Paris offers much more choices. Wang works in finance in Shanghai. She needs a wardrobe to shine at every party and social event. The low price and great variety of Miss Paris meet her needs exactly.
I have the opportunity to try out every style of latest costumes, so that I know what fits me best. If it fits me well, I will consider buying one. If not, I will just rent it once. Miss Paris gives me the chance to change my clothes as frequently as I want. And it also means that I do not need to own many clothes, but can just wear the clothes I want, and turn to other styles when I get bored. This is such a good online service that costs little but offers more.
Miss Paris now owns over thousands of outfits from more than 100 top Western brands, most of which reflect the most up-to-date fashions of the current season in New York and Paris. After attracting a large number of customers through its costume renting service, Miss Paris is turning to everyday clothes, bags, and accessories to meet women's needs at different occasions. The service has spread to over 30 cities in China since it began in March 2015. However, the company also faces a lot of difficulties in running the business, namely inventory, delivery, quality guarantee, cleaning, and maintenance. Many people still have concerns over health and hygiene issues, as clothes are relatively private products, and those doubts will decide whether they will fully accept the new concept of renting.
We have established a cleaning and disinfection center to address the issue. All the clothes that customers return will be cleaned and disinfected there. The person in charge has the background of doing the same thing in a 5-star hotel in Shanghai, so that it is within strict control. If the costumes have damages or get really old, we will just replace them with new ones.
Renting luxury items is an established business in Western countries. Miss Paris' American counterparts have used several methods to make the break, such as providing more items and functions. On Rent the Runway's website, members can post pictures of their rented clothes. That helps users see what the clothes look like on normal, non-model people.
Western companies have been doing the business for many years, and we learned a lot from some American companies. The service has barely entered the domestic market because in the past, Chinese women cared little about the quality or brand of their clothes.